Hello students, today we are going to do different structures of organization in our paper Organization Behavior with paper code BBAP 3305. I am Ragini Dikshit, working as Assistant Professor in School of Management, BBD University. Now, contents of today's presentation are: first, we will learn the meaning of organizational structure, then importance of organizational structure, why this organizational structure is important, what are the key elements which form an organizational structure, and fourth is your various categories of organizational structure. So we will learn meaning, importance, key elements, and various types of organizational structure. Now, coming to our first point, that is meaning. Organizational structure refers to the way in which a group is formed, its lines of communication, and its means for channeling authority and making decisions. Means how a particular group is going to form, how people in that group will communicate with each other, and its means for channeling authority, who is responsible for giving orders and who is going to take orders and make decisions. Then it clarifies the formal relationships of individuals in the various positions within the organization. It clarifies the formal relationship, means who is going to report whom. Formal relationship of individuals in the various positions within the organization. Now, importance. Importance of organizational structure. It enables members to know what their responsibilities are. What are their responsibilities? Members will know what are their responsibilities. Second, it frees the manager and the individual workers to concentrate on their respective roles and responsibilities. Everybody knows what are their responsibilities, so the individual worker will be able to concentrate on their respective roles and responsibilities. Next, it coordinates all organizational activities so there is minimal duplication of effort or conflict. There will be minimal duplication of effort or conflict as all the activities in an organized structure are coordinated. Then it avoids overlapping of function because it pinpoints responsibilities. Overlapping of functions will be avoided through these organizational structure. Then next, shows to whom and for whom a particular manager or a particular individual or employee is responsible. Then divides work to be done in specific jobs and department. Assigns tasks and responsibilities associated with individual job. Individual person will have individual job and various tasks and responsibilities associated with those jobs. Then it coordinates diverse organizational tasks, establish relationship between individual groups and departments, establishes formal lines of authority, who is going to report whom, and allocates organizational resources. Now, coming to the key elements of organizational structures. What are the key elements which form an organizational structure? First is your work specialization. Work specialization, what it is? It describes the degree to which tasks in an organization are divided into separate job, means the degree to which a particular work in an organization is divided into separate jobs. The main idea of this organizational design is that an entire job is not done by one individual. It is broken down into steps and a different person completes each step, means a particular task is divided into different steps and one step is going to completed by one employee. Individual employees specialize in doing a part of an activity rather than the entire activity. That is work specialization, the degree to which tasks in an organization are divided into separate jobs. Then is your departmentalization. It is the basis by which jobs are grouped together. For instance, every organization has its own specific way of classifying and grouping work activities. It means how the work activities or the activities are grouped together. How many groups are going to be formed? That is departmentalization, means how many departments will be there. There are generally five common forms of departmentalization. First is your functional. It groups jobs by functions performed. It can be used in all kinds of organization. It depends on the goals each of them wants to achieve. Depending on the functions, the particular organization, a particular form, it can be used in all types of organization. Means depending on the function, a particular organization can be departmentalized or divided. Then comes your product departmentalization. It groups job by product line. Each manager is responsible of an area within the organization depending of his or her specialization. The product departmentalization. It groups job by product line. Each manager is responsible of an area within the organization depending of his or her specialization. For a particular kind of product, he is responsible for a particular kind of service or a particular kind of product. Then geographical departmentalization. It groups jobs on the basis of territory or geography. Then comes your process departmentalization. It groups on departments on the basis of product or customer flow, on the basis of different types of product, different types of department. Then customer departmentalization means it groups job on the basis of common customers. Different types of customers are there, and according to them there will be different types of department in an organization. Then comes the third key element, that is chain of command. It is defined as a continuous line of authority that extends from upper organizational level to the lowest levels and clarifies who reports to whom, means who is going to report whom. And there are three important concepts attached to this theory, that is chain of command. Means authority refers to the right inherent in a managerial position to tell people what to do and what, and to expect them to do it, what they are going to do and what is expected from them. Then responsibility, the obligations to perform any assigned duties, and unity of command. That is the management principle that each person should report to only one manager. Means that how in any organizational structure this chain of command is working, who is authorized, who is responsible, and how, who is going to hold this unity of command. Then is your span of control. Span of control says it is important to a large degree because it determines the number of levels and managers an organization has, also determines the number of employees a manager can efficiently and effectively manage. Means, for example, if one manager is there, now how many persons or how many employees are going to report to that manager? That is that manager's span of control. Now, coming to our next slide, that is formalization. Formalization says it refers to degree to which jobs within the organization are standardized and the extent to which employee behavior is guided by rules and procedures. How standards are being followed in that particular organizations and how various rules and procedures are going to guide an employee behavior. Now, coming to our various organizational structures or various organizational structures categories, these are line organizational structure, functional organizational structure, line and staff organizational structure, horizontal organizational structure, committee organizational structure, matrix, then virtual, team organization, boundaryless organization structures, inverted pyramid organization structures. Your boundary full organization structures are your line, functional, line and staff, horizontal, committee. Then comes your boundary-less organizational structures, means they don't have any organizational boundaries. These are your virtual, team. These are your boundary-less organizations. Now, Coming to your first type of organization structure, that is line organization structure. It is also known as scalar, military, or vertical organization, and perhaps it is the oldest form of organizational structure, and it has various characteristics like line authority and instructions are vertical, that is they flow from the top to the bottom, means CEO will give the instructions to the general manager, then general manager to the manager, depending upon the hierarchy of that organization. The unity of command is maintained in a straight line. All persons at the same level of organization are independent of each other. This structure specifies responsibility and authority for all the position, limiting the area of action. Now, what are the merits of these types of line organization? It is simple and discipline is maintained, prompt decisions can be taken, orderly communication is there, it is easy to supervise as well as it is economical. Now, what can be the demerits? Lack of specialization is there, absence of conceptual thinking because managers have to do whatever they are told by their seniors. So, there is absence of conceptual thinking. Then, autocratic approach, whatever they are told they have to do that. Then problems of coordination. Now suitability, it is suitable how this line organization structure is suitable for small scale organization where the number of subordinates is quite small. Now coming to this diagram, you can see president is going to give orders to vice president, then plant manager, then foreman is going to guide worker. So line of authority is followed. Now coming to our next organization structure, that is functional organization structure. Here function structure is created by grouping the activities on the basis of functions required for the achievement of organizational objective. For this purpose, for all the functions required are classified into basic, secondary and supporting functions. The whole activity of an organization are divided into various functions. Each functional area is put under the charge of one executive. For any decision, one has to consult the functional specialist. So, all the entire activity of an organization is divided into various functions, and these functions are under the control of specialized persons. So, if any employee who is working want to gain some knowledge about a particular function, he can contact to that functional specialist. Now, it has limited span of control. This type of organizational structure has limited span of control. What are their merits? Merits: high specialization, clarity in functioning, no duplication of work, satisfaction is there because everybody is getting their specialized area, control and coordination is there. Then demerits is call for more coordination, clear line of authority and slow decision making. Now, this type of functional organizational structure is suitable for becomes necessary as a small organization grows and business activity becomes more and more complex. Now, coming to diagram, that is CEO is there. Now, this it divides the activities of organization into IT department, finance department, marketing department, and other departments like production department. Now, these finance department manager is going to control various sub departments working under him. Similarly, IT department manager is going to control various sub departments working under him. Now, coming to our next type of organization, that is line and staff organization. Now, it refers to pattern in which staff specialists advise line managers to perform their duties. Line people will give advices. The staff people have the right to recommend but have no authority to enforce their preferences on other departments. Now, the origin structure clearly is distinguished between two aspects of administration, that is planning and execution. Staff officers provide advice only to the line officers. They do not have any power of command over them. Now, the staff supplements the line members. Now, these staff members are going to give advice to the line members. Means these line managers have the power to take decisions, and these staff members are going to advise these line members. Now, what are the merits of this line and staff organization? Means in line and staff organization, some people are going to work like line managers, and some people are going to work as staff managers. Now, line managers will take the decisions, while the staff managers will advise these line managers how or what decisions they should take. These staff managers are just going to advise line managers. Now, what are their merits? It adds functional specialists to the pure line organization and thus aims at combining the merits of the two. It brings expert knowledge to bear upon management. Functional specialists provide expert advice to the management on wide-ranging matters. It provides for better placement and utilization of personnel and leads to more skill development. So here the skills of both the line and staff managers are combined, so the decisions which they are going to make are more favorable than alone the line and staff managers. Now, coming to demerits, the line and staff relationship often lead to many friction and jealousies. Line managers may depend too much on staff experts and thus lose much of their judgment and initiative. The staff experts may remain ineffective because they do not get the authority to implement their recommendation. Now, suitability. This line in the staff type of organization is suitable in large organization where specialized activities are required because it offers ample opportunities for specialization. Now, coming to next type of organization. Now, first see this line and staff type of organization through this diagram here. These chief executive officer, production manager, foreman, and worker. They are working as line managers. Now, these economist and legal advisor. These are working as your staff managers. They are going to provide advice to production manager, marketing manager, and finance manager. So this is your line. These are your line managers, and these are your staff managers. Now, horizontal organization structure. A horizontal organizational structure has fewer layers, normally 2 or 3. It does not have many chains of command. The top position of the structure is the owner of the business. The second layer contains manager or team leaders who report to the business owner. The third layer are team members supervised by the manager or the team leaders in the second layer. So this horizontal organizational structure works in layer. The top position of the structure is the owner of the business. The second layer of the contains managers or team leaders, and the third layers are team lead members supervised by these team leaders. So first is your owner, then your team managers, and the various team members. The horizontal organizational chart has eliminated many middle management levels, thus can be considered as an employee-centered with emphasis on teamwork and collaboration. Without going through complicated hierarchies, employees have more contact with managers and even business owners. Now, coming to our next slide, that is advantages of horizontal organizational structure. Firstly, the horizontal organizational structure is an employee-centered approach. Then, the cross-functional structure makes optimum utilization of resource across different teams. Thirdly, it is cost-saving. Then, disadvantages. There may be contradiction between departments due to the responsibilities are interdependent, which can hinder their productivity. It can also lead to the feeling that every single employee who works in a small, flat organization lacks professional skills, and it does not promote innovation and creativity because of the breaking up of specialized line of business. Now, these are the various disadvantages. This horizontal organizational structure is also known as flat organizational structure. Now, let us study with this diagram. That is, it is top management. This top management, product manager. These are your team managers. Now, these team managers are going to these are their teams. That is product analysis, research analysis, building and testing. This will be done by their team members. So this is he is the team leader and these are their team members, and he is the top management team. The top management team, then team leader and the team managers. Horizontal organizational structure works like this. Now, coming to your next organizational structure, that is matrix organizational structure. Now, matrix organizational structure is essentially a violation of unity of command. Now, characteristics. Matrix structure is the realization of two-dimensional structure which emanates directly from two dimensions of authority. In matrix organization, a project manager is appointed to coordinate the activities of the project. Personnel are drawn from their respective functional departments. Each functional staff has two bosses. First, his direct reporting officer, that is administrative head, and his project manager. So each employee will have to report two persons, that is functional department manager as well as your administrative manager. Now, merits. It offers operational freedom and flexibility. It focuses on end result. It maintains professional identity. It holds an employee responsible for management of resources. It calls for greater degree of coordination and it violates unity of command. Difficult to define authority and responsibility. Employee may be demotivated as he has two reporting officer. The employee may feel demotivated. Now, this matrix structure is the realization of two-dimensional structures which emanates directly from two dimensions of authority. Means line work is also going as well as your horizontal work is also going. That is flat, vertical, and flat. Both types of organizational structure are followed in your matrix organizational structure. Now, you can see this through this diagram, that is matrix organizational structure. Here line is also there and horizontal is also there. Okay. Then coming to committee organization. Committee organization, a committee does not represent a separate type of organization like line and staff or functional. A committee may be defined as a group of people performing some aspects of managerial functions, or we can also say a committee consists of a group of people specifically designed to perform some administrative work. Now, what is the merit of committee types of organization? Pooling of knowledge, effective coordination is available, effective communication, motivation through participation of employees. Demerits can be slow decision, most expensive, difficult to maintain, secrecy, and compromisation is there. So, in committee type of organizational structures, different committees are formed to perform administrative tasks. Now, we can see here that is finance committee is formed, then executive committee is formed, purchase committee is formed, and these committees are going to report general manager. Executive committee or finance committee is going to report or is going to help board of directors. They are going to perform administrative tasks. Now, these were your traditional organizational structures. And what were the problems those are associated with these traditional organizational structures are slow, poor in responding customer requirement, failure to get things to done, customer vendor has a hard time dealing with the organization, lack of flexibilities, and there are many boundaries which are associated with these traditional types of organization. These boundaries were vertical boundaries between, that is, with different layers or hierarchies between an organization. Horizontal boundaries were there, boundaries which exist between organizational departments. Then external boundaries, barriers between the organization and the outside world, and geographic boundaries, barriers among organizational units located in different countries. So these traditional organizations face these types of problems. So To overcome these problems, boundaryless organization came to origin. Now, it may be defined as an organization structure that can avoid all the barriers. Boundaryless organization allows free flow of ideas, information, resources throughout the organization into others. And as the name indicates, a boundaryless organization eliminates internal boundaries among subsystems as well as external boundaries with external environment. It is a combination of team and network structures with the addition of temporariness. These are generally these types of organization are formed for a particular task or project. The key feature of boundaryless organization include knowledge sharing, absence of hierarchy and bureaucracy, creativity, quality, timeliness, increase in speed and flexibility. These are the some benefits of the boundaryless organization. Now, coming to one such type of organization, that is team organization structure. A structure in which the entire organization is made up of work group or team is known as team structure. Team structures are both permanent and temporary in nature as situation demands. And the tagline which this team structure bear is "We report to each other." Means nobody is superior, nobody is working as subordinate. They are going to work as a team. Means there is no vertical or horizontal boundaries. It leads to boundaries-less organization in a borderless world. In team structure, we find cross-functional teams meant for improving lateral relations, solving problems, completing special projects, and accomplishing routine tasks. A cross-functional team comprises members from different functional departments such as marketing, finance, HR, production, etc. Here, employees are more involved and empowered because of reduced barriers among functional areas. Now, diagram of such team organization is that is core team is formed of functional head, technical head, system head, administrative head, and training head, and they can have their supporting team. Now, the core team is of these heads and supporting team is of these employees. Now, they are going to help each other and they are not going to follow any kind of hierarchy. Now, next is your inverted pyramid organization structure, and this is an alternative to the traditional chain of command. This is a structure which is narrow at the top, as the pyramid, as the word says, inverted pyramid. Now, usually the structure, the pyramid is narrow at the top and wider at the bottom. But this type of pyramid, that is inverted pyramid, is inverted. It is wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. This is a structure which is narrow at the top and wide at the base. For instance, sales people and sales support staff sit on the top as the key decision makers for all the issues related to sales and dealing with the customers. Since the sales staff are in touch with the customer and aware of the requirement of the customer, they are given all the freedom to follow their own best judgment at all levels. We can see from this diagram this organizational structure is going to work like this. They are going to take output from the customers, frontline staff, support staff, then middle management is going to guide senior management in taking further decisions. Now, coming to next type of organization, that is virtual organization structure. This virtual organizational structures abolishes all types of geographical boundaries. It facilitates competitiveness in the global market. There can be alliance and partnership with other organizations. It is flexible organization and removes all traditional boundaries. It is temporary network of companies that come together quickly to exploit fast changing opportunities. It is bigger than traditional organization. It requires a strong IT platform. It is going to eliminate and avoid all boundaries for the business purpose. So all the MNCs or all the companies which are working globally, they can follow these virtual organizational structure with the help of IT infrastructure. So we have done what till now what we have done, that is we have seen various types of organizational structure, various categories of organizational structure. Then we have learned Meaning of organizational structure, that is organizational structure refers to the way in which a group is formed. What are their lines of communication and its means for channeling authority and making decisions. Then it clarifies the formal relationship of individuals in the various positions within the organization, which formal relationship, how they are going to report each other. The employees working in an organization, who is going to report whom. Then comes your importance of organizational structure. Why these structures are formed, why these structures are important in any organization? Because it enables members to know what their responsibilities, it frees the managers and the individual workers to concentrate on their respective roles. When they know what are their responsibilities, they can concentrate on their respective roles and responsibilities. Now these activities, various activities which are taking place in organization, they can be coordinated well. Then it avoids overlapping of function. Each individual has its own assigned functions or its own assigned tasks. Then divides work to be done in specific jobs and department, assign tasks and responsibilities associated with individual jobs, coordinate diverse organizational tasks, establishes relationship between individual groups and department, establishes formal lines of authority, allocates organizational resources. So these are the various functions, or you can say various importance of organizational structure. Now the key elements are work specialization, departmentalization, and your chain of command, span of control, and your last is formalization. How these key elements work in any organization, according to that an organizational structure is going to be formed. On the basis of these six key elements, organizational structures can be categorized as line organizational structure, functional organizational structure, line and staff, horizontal, committee, matrix, virtual, team, boundaryless organizational structure, and your last was in inverted pyramid organizational structure. So we have done these types of structures. I think I am clear through this presentation. Now I should thank you for uh, virtual organizational structure facilitates competitiveness in the global market. There can be alliance, and these are these virtual, these team, and your inverted pyramid organization. These are your boundaryless organization. Now, thank you, class. Now we will meet in our next top. We will meet with our next topic in our next session. Thank you.